What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Early Edge. My name is Sia Nejad, otherwise known as the Counselor of Cash, and we've got a great show for you today. Don't forget, we are brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Rick Funcannon in the chat, Joseph Akers, Richard Pierre, Mark Buckholz, CLE fan, Stephen Cook. Thanks for already hitting the like button. Let's see if we like our recap screen from yesterday. A lot of voided bets here because of the rain out, but we go 4-2, and let's not forget Prop Stars plus 108 and Mike McClure's plus 180. So this 4-2 looking very good. Shout out to Amags for the strikeouts prop. Calvin Wetzel goes 1-4-2. His pick from yesterday wins, but the future from a couple of weeks ago, that one ends up going down thanks to the Fever winning the Commissioner's Cup yesterday. But we got more winning to do. We have such a crazy day today because we got a lot of doubleheaders, a lot of day baseball, and we've got a 12-10 game that we're going to talk a lot about. We have so many picks on that game. It's just a coincidence. Let's bring in the stars of the show. We got Amags. We got Tom Casale. We got Martin Green. And Amags, I tried to set the table. You're wearing the A's hat. It just so happens you have a pick on this game. We have two SportsLine picks on this game. When we get to the home run model, we got a couple of guys that are involved with SportsLine value with respect to home runs. But that's not the only day game. I'm sure there are going to be questions, Amags, with all these doubleheaders. How you doing today?
I'm stoked, man. Yeah, we got 3 double headers because of the rainouts. Of course, yesterday kind of stunk because of the rainouts, but then you get a great day here because of them. So give and take as it is in this life. And I think that 3 double headers with 3 games at 1 o'clock to back up the 12 o'clock game at noon. Oh, man, it's going to be a great day of day baseball.
Tom, I know you're here for baseball as well, but I do want to mention we're just Saturday days away from NFL kickoff, which means, of course, we're even less days away from college football kickoff. I saw you had a tweet, might have been 2 days ago, about how excited you are that lines are starting to come out, bets in college football games are not about to happen, but sooner than we think. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, we're next month we'll be betting on college football, and I mean, listen, if you like preseason football for the NFL, it's even closer. But real live football in August, so the baseball's great, but pretty soon we're going to have football, and I love it when we have all these sports going at once. There's nothing better in the fall, so looking forward to it.
Martin Green, set us up for soccer. What's going on the pitch today, or just in general with soccer right now?
There's nothing happening in Europe right now, Sia. Wimbledon fever has gripped the country over here. Very hot. The grass courts are almost playing like clay courts because it's so hot. But things are finally starting to cool down now. So there's a full day of action there. All the soccer is actually taking place on the other side of the pond in the United States of America. We've got the CONCACAF Gold Cup semi-finals taking place tonight. And then in a couple of days, it will be the Club World Cup quarterfinals, just 8 teams left standing there. So some really big soccer games on the horizon.
All right. Speaking of Wimbledon, Mike was going to be on the show. He had an emergency to attend to. Either him or, not an emergency, but something he had to attend to. Either him or Jose Honorado will have Wimbledon picks, hopefully maybe tomorrow for one of the SportsLine picks. But obviously they're going to be on the show. Mike's certainly going to be on the show maybe later this week, but into next week, we're going to have Wimbledon picks as well. Again, hitting that plus 180. Mike's hit a few in a row there. So absolutely love that. Let's get to some picks. Amags, I'm going to start with you. I know we're going to have a lot of baseball questions in the chat as well. And again, it just so happens we've got a lot of A's stuff today. Talk to me about Brent Rooker.
Well, I got to give Mark Buckholz a quick shout out as I kick this off, because I guess in the thumbnail, which I didn't realize, I was wearing the Phillies hat. There you go, Martin. And then I come in with the Athletics hat. As many know, that was kind of the same team, right? They were moved from Philly to Oakland years ago. So, hey, I didn't even realize or mean to do that, but shout out to Mark for picking that up. That was pretty cool.
Sure.
But I do have a hitter prop here, a guy that let a lot of people down yesterday in Brent Rooker. But with this weather in Tampa here today, this day game, when you're getting the day games in Tampa, the thing you should immediately be thinking about is hitter props, team totals. I like the A's over 3.5, but I think I'm just going to hone in on Brent Rooker here. A hitless day yesterday with 3 strikeouts. But the game before that, still in Tampa, he had played very well. And I think that kind of a little bit of a bounce back here. Sometimes hitters, when they have a bad night, the next best thing is to have a day game right away. So I think getting back here for Brent Rooker, he actually against Pepio in a very small sample size does have a couple of hits. I think that the main thing here, though, is that he projects to go well over 2 hits, runs, RBIs, and we're getting it at 1.5 still. There's other guys in this game that are going to be at 2.5 because of the weather with, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds blowing out to left field in this minor league park. That certainly has a play into this. But with, the rest of the lineup being at 2.5 or a bunch of other guys on the Rays side at 2.5, I do like Brandon Lau, but I'm just going to stick here. You get the 1.5 at a very reasonable price for a guy that I think should bounce back. And he faces Pepio, who, when you break it down left versus right, he's been much better against lefties. Against righties, he's around 275 average allowed. So I think Brent Rooker at this price at 1.5 is a very good spot for us. But like I said, if you want to go both teams to score in this game at 3 runs each, I think that was around -125. If you want to go with the A's over 3.5, I don't dislike that one as well. It seems like there's many people picking on Ryan Pepio. The only thing I would say, he's a bulldog. And after that last start, this may be a really big bounce back spot. So I'm just going to hone in on Rooker. I think he at least gets over 1.5.
And Amags, we're going to have some SportsLine model picks that are going to implicate this game. So, this is one of those things where we'll see what they are and you can comment on them, but don't be afraid to say, hey, I'd shy away from that, or maybe lessen my unit size, or whatever. And we've got really good cappers that have picks on that game. But, just the other day I had a Denver Broncos over, 9.5 wins at, I think it was plus. I think I might have given it out at -105, but I think I've seen some plus numbers since. But Mike McClure was like, hey, man, I don't like that. I like the Chargers better, and I can't take both. So I'm going to take the Chargers win total over and not the Broncos. So it's okay to disagree on this show, but it just so happens we have so many picks. So I'm curious to get your comments there. But let's move along, Tom. Let's do some more baseball before we get to some soccer, PGA pick, and our SportsLine picks. Talk to me about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, there's 18 games today. Unbelievable. All these options, and I'm going with the low-hanging fruit. I'm going with Aaron Judge, and here's why. I lean the Yankees tonight only because I know from previous matchups they hit Berrios pretty well. They bat 285 against them as a team, but man, Judge really smokes them. 378 lifetime against Berrios, 14 of 37 with 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. And my theory on this is that, first of all, that's a pretty good sample size. But if you're an average hitter who does well against a certain pitcher, it's one thing. But when Aaron Judge owns you, that's another thing. I mean, if he's seeing you well, it's really hard to find ways to stop that because he's such a good hitter. And you look at Judge, at least 2 hits in 2 of his last 3 games, 2 hits last night against Toronto. I just can't ignore these numbers. If you look at it traditionally, like throughout the season, when Judge owns a pitcher, that usually shows up on the field again. So I'm going to go Judge over 1.5 bases tonight.
All right, Judge over 1.5 bases. A lot more baseball to come on the show, and a lot more boosts coming from BetMGM. BetMGM has 2 boosts for you today. Players will receive an odds boost token in any sport today. An odds boost in any sport today. Just make a wager and activate the token. Score extra winnings if your bet wins only at BetMGM. BetMGM players will also receive a Wimbledon odds boost. Just make a Wimbledon bet and activate the boost token. If your bet wins, you get extra winnings. And I got to tell you, this is a really good day to be in the SportsLine Discord because we're going to have, I'm sure, Jose and others in there talking about tennis and Wimbledon. But obviously, when we've got so many games, Amags, within MLB and Tom, like we've got a lot going on. And it's not just from you guys. It's from the members in the chat as well who, Amags, you can testify to this. It's a lot of sharp people that are constantly in that MLB chat. Listen, if you're not a SportsLine member already, sportsline.com/join, type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan, and that gets you into the free Discord. Amags, I do, now that you're on the show today, before we get to the home run model plays, I want to follow up with you because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to be at the Yankees-Mariners game on July 9th. Tom, I'm not sure if we know if you're coming. Tom, actually, I'm going to go to you first. Are you going to make it to that game, Tom, or you can't make it?
I can't make it. My son has a football camp that day that I already paid a lot of money for months ago. So I just couldn't get out of it.
Oh, completely fair there. Amags, you're going to be there. That flyer, I'm surprised it's not updated yet, but it's going to be updated later today. I think I promised you it was going to be updated yesterday, so I guess that's my bad, but I don't do that stuff. So either way, we've got more people coming to that. Tom unfortunately can't come, but Amags, you're going to be there on July 9th. I know Danny Brasco is going to be there, Larry Hartstein, Claudia Bellafato. I'm going to be there. Let's see, who am I missing? There was somebody else on that. Oh, of course, Mikey B. Mike Barner's going to be there as well. And the first 75 people that get tickets, you get free early edge merch. We'll have a whole setup outside around that 6:30 time frame. More details to come. But Amags, excited to meet you.
Yeah, excited to finally meet you in person. See, I think we've done a bunch of different shows across different networks together now, and it'll be great to meet you. But as well, it'll be really great to meet a lot of these people that are in my DMs, that are in the Discord. Yeah. We're talking. Last night, even, I think we were talking about the game, and there was 4 new people that were like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there. I live in this part of Long Island. I live in this part of New York. And I was shocked at people that hadn't said yet that they were going to be there. So it's turning into a really awesome thing. It
really is. Very easy to get tickets. Martin Green, you're looking a little jealous. I couldn't help but notice.
Yeah, I wish I could make it, but sadly, it's quite a long way. It's quite a long way to go from here. But yeah, I would love to meet everyone. It's always funny when you've been talking to people online for so long, and then you meet them in person for the first time, and they're either like a giant or they're really small, and you never really knew. You're like, wow.
That's funny. By the way, Prop Stars is in the chat. He says he wish he could be there. This is probably a good time before we get to the home run model plays to get to Prop Stars pick, because we've got 2 SportsLine picks, and one of them is courtesy of Prop Stars. Ryan Pepio under 6.5 Ks at -136. And then in this same game, so this is our 3rd pick in this game, the Tampa Bay Rays run line -102. That one courtesy of Bruce Marshall. Amags, I'm going to go back to you. Which I don't need you to co-sign these plays. These are other people's plays, not yours. But if you had to pick one of these, what would you lean on? How do you feel about both?
All right, so I think that Rays one is solid. They have to win a game here, right? The last couple of nights have been really tough losses. I think that they have to win one of these games. So the -1.5 for the home team, don't always love that. See if you maybe could find the -1 out there. But I do side with the Rays, maybe in the first 5 for the Rays. I think it was -135 or so for that -0.5. I was looking at that one this morning. Pepio, I will say there's 2 things on Pepio. And one thing on Prop Stars. I know he's in the chat, so I'm going to give him a shout out because he does this a lot, where he will consistently hit the unders on numbers that are too high or he thinks are too high for strikeouts. And a lot of the time it really does work. So I have no problem with taking that approach. You also have rain in the area, as we talked about in the chat already. There's potential for delays and all that. All of those things come into play to help the under. That you need a lot of other, help to get to the over. My only thought is that I know Pepio's personality. He is a bulldog. He absolutely hated. He gave a 10-minute interview last week or whenever it was, that blow up, about how awful of a teammate he felt that he was to hang all those innings on the bullpen. And I know how good his stuff can be. If he goes out there today, especially after the bullpen usage, you see 3 of those top relievers there for the Rays have all been used back-to-back days now after those last couple of games. If he goes out there and is pitching well, they're going to likely extend him into the game because of the lower pitch count last time. So there's a lot of things that could go against him. The only thought with that is that I don't know if he's going well, they probably leave him in. So that would be my only thought there. But I have to give it to Prop Stars because he does this all the time and just continues to win with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the type of analysis that you can find in the SportsLine Discord. I hate to continue to sell, but Amags, I just know you frequent that MLB Discord so much that, when you hear this, you see a pick, and obviously we don't have Prop Stars on the show. Normally we have the basis behind the pick, a full, but to have some context applied by Amags, this is the type of thing you get in the Discord as well. We are going to get to the home run model plays, but I want to get to Martin Green's play. So what we're going to do is take a quick break, and then we're going to go to Martin's play. We're going to go to my golf play. We're going to go to home run props. We'll take care of it all right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back to the Early Edge. The Fantasy Football Today show is hosting a draft-a-thon to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. To help raise money, we're auctioning off a chance to come on the Early Edge and give out a play. I'm going to read that again. Auctioning off a chance to come onto the Early Edge and give out a play. We'll drop the link in the chat and in YouTube and Spotify comment section so you can help us raise money and come on the Early Edge to give out your pick live on the show. Martin Green, it's time for you to give out your pick live on the show. What you got?
Thank you very much, Sia. Yeah, as I mentioned, it is the CONCACAF Gold Cup semi-finals this evening. The USMNT taking on Guatemala at Energizer Park in St. Louis. Guatemala are currently number 106 in the FIFA World Rankings. They're 90 places below the USMNT. They're below all sorts of teams like Palestine and Tajikistan. They're not exactly a heavyweight in the world of soccer. They were on the verge of losing to Canada in the quarterfinals, but then Canada had a player sent off on the stroke of half time. And Guatemala improved when they were playing against 10 men. They ultimately scraped through on a penalty shootout. The USMNT are missing most of their key players for this tournament, including the likes of Christian Pulisic. But I do think they should still have enough quality to beat this Guatemala team. I quite like USA minus 1.5. You can get about minus 115 on that. Or USA win to nil, that's plus 110. But for my SportsLine early edge pick, I'm just going to put them in a 2-team parlay with Mexico. Mexico have been the best team at this tournament by far. Unlike the USA, they have all their star players in their squad, so they're at full strength. They cruised through the group stage with an unbeaten record. They beat Saudi Arabia 2-0 in the quarterfinals. They were very comfortable there. They're now up against Honduras in the semifinals. They should be far too strong for this Honduras team. They won 4-0 the last time these teams met. That was just back in November. So I think that should give Mexico a psychological advantage. Keeping it simple, putting them both together at minus 137. Looks like a really good play to me. There's lots of Club World Cup games taking place in the next couple of days too. So if anyone wants to chat about them, I'm in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's fire off some questions for Martin in the YouTube chat. I had the best bets show yesterday with Patrick McDonald, Eric Cohen, and Jason Sobel. And I gave out this play. It's a round 1 3-ball. This will be tomorrow morning before the Early Edge starts. I think around that 8:30 time frame. I'm going with a 3-ball with Emiliano Grillo. It's even money, plus 100 over Adam Schenk and Rafael Campos. Both Schenk and Campos haven't played well for quite some time. I think the catch and the caveat here is that Adam Schenk has good course history here. He was cut last time out, but over the last 4 tournaments, and again, this is Adam Schenk, so this is kind of remarkable. Over the last 4 tournaments here at the John Deere Classic, he's finished T4 twice. I believe the other 2 times he was cut, but the bottom line is, course history aside, Schenk is not playing well at all. He's playing as badly, as poorly as Rafael Campos. And Emiliano Grillo, while he wasn't good last week, is coming in with really good form. If you watch the DFS show, you might have heard Mike McClure say Emiliano Grillo actually rates out top 5 in his model in this entire field. I like Grillo as well. And I think regardless of Schenk's course history, I think we're talking about a golfer that's head and shoulders above Adam Schenk and Rafael Campos. So I'll take the even money on Emiliano Grillo for a 3-ball over Adam Schenk and Rafael Campos. By the way, the 4 o'clock live chat today, it'll be me and Rick Gaiman. Sometimes Mike McClure comes into that chat, but it'll be me and Rick Gaiman at 4 o'clock. We will literally answer any question you have, whether it's DFS related or betting related. It's a really good show, and it's starting to pick up a lot of steam. So get in there and ask any question you want. Let's talk about home runs. Amags, Tom, I don't know if you have any commentary on the SportsLine home run plays, but we got Nick Kurtz plus 380 versus plus 470. Again, the plus 380 is the SportsLine odds, and the real odds are plus 470. Riley Green plus 350 versus plus 400, and Junior Caminero plus 330 versus plus 390. Amags, I'm going to go to you. What jumps out to you, if anything?
Caminero against Mitch Spence. I think that's a really solid one with the wind blowing out again. Kurtz, the only thing that I don't love is that Pepio's been far better against the lefties, but in terms of home runs, it is still 6 home runs versus 8 home runs to lefties. So it's a 6 to righties, 8 to lefties in a very 47 innings about to each side. So the home runs specifically are nearly the same, but under 200 average to lefties from Pepio, whereas righties are 275 or better. So that would be the thing that I see. Riley Green, I don't have too much of an opinion on. I would go with Caminero here.
Tom, I see these three names, but then I think, hey, you just gave out Aaron Judge. Do we think Aaron Judge might go the yard today?
Yeah, I do. I don't bet a ton of home run props just because I think they're hard to hit. I was looking at Judge at home run and decided to go with the over 1.5 bases. I felt more confident. I think he's got like 3 doubles against Berrios, and I could see one today. I will say that as somebody who posts these picks in the CMS, the model loves Caminero a lot. We post him a lot, and they've had success with him too. So I think that's a player that the model sees still has value this far in the season based on their numbers. So I would take a look at that one.
All right, let's go to some questions in the chat. D. Johnson says, Amags, thoughts on Mitch Keller over 17.5 pitching outs?
I don't love to go over on a lot of these. I think what he's facing Sonny Gray and the Cardinals. I think I'd probably lean to the under. You're going to get plus money on the under, I think, but I'd lean to the under. Don't like the over. I did see another one, though, on a couple of strikeouts here. One was on Kershaw. They said over 3.5. I'm pretty sure the number's 4.5. But if you're taking 3.5 at like an alternate level on a parlay or something, I do like that. I actually like him over 4.5 as well, and potentially up the ladder. Just wish he was throwing a few more pitches. And then Kikuchi over 5.5 against Atlanta. We saw the lefty Tyler Anderson perform well last night, 7 strikeouts, 6 innings. I think Kikuchi could follow that up with a very similar performance.
Okay. Let's go to soccer. Eric Baz says, Martin, PSG plus Real parlay at plus 249. What do you think?
Yeah, I do like it. Eric. I think I picked PSG to win this tournament at the start, and I'm sticking with it. They just won the Champions League. They still look fresh and they still look fired up. I think they should be too strong for Bayern Munich. It's a difficult game. Bayern Munich have got a lot of quality. I like both teams to score in over 2.5 goals in that match, but PSG really should be able to beat Bayern Munich. Bayern's defense isn't all that good. So if their motivation is high, they'll win the game. And I like Real Madrid to beat Borussia Dortmund as well. Borussia Dortmund are a tricky team to face, but Bellingham suspended for them. And I think Real should ultimately have a bit too much quality for them. So I like Real Madrid to win an under 4.5 goals in that game. Stick them together. Plus 249. Sounds good.
And Andy Bando for Martin Green says, at minus 136, a goal in both halves in the Mexico game, or plus 122 for Mexico to score in both halves, worth adding either to the parlay.
You could do, yeah. I'm always a bit unsure about those type of bets, just because hypothetically, say Mexico score twice in the first half, then they don't really have any incentive to score in the second half. They could just sit back and defend. So if I was going to do either, I'd probably go for the second one, Mexico to score in both halves, because I think they'll dominate the game, and at plus 122 it looks more attractive. But yeah, I wouldn't personally be putting too much on that. I prefer just to keep it easy and stick to the money line.
All right. Joe Neuenfeld says, I think PSG is Sia's team. Yeah, Joe, I didn't want to brag in front of Martin, but you're right. I did call PSG about a month ago. Let's see. A couple more questions. One for me, Bo Connor, Bo, I hope you can join us at 4 o'clock for the live chat. I understand if you can't, but you're asking off topic, is that in the PGA, what is your favorite way to hedge sprinkling a few tournament winners, finishing positions, or tournament matchups? I love how you said that, because I don't put a lot on tournament winners. So I love how you said sprinkling. And I tell this to people all the time. I've mentioned in the Discord and on the early wedge. I don't even put a full unit total on my outright winners. And that's okay, right? Because I'm picking 50 to 1s and 30 to 1s and 80 to 1s and things of that nature. The way I make my money in golf personally is with round matchups. That's what I specialize in personally. That's where I've been most profitable. I think finishing positions can be finicky tournament to tournament, especially in a birdie fest like the John Deere. I don't think it's as advisable to take finishing positions in tournaments like that, where the variance can be there with a few guys being really hot with the putter that you're not expecting to get inside the top 40, 30, or 20. So I would say tournament matchups and round matchups is where your bread and butter is. And obviously, you spread a little bit out, you sprinkle a little bit out on tournament outrights and things of that nature. But more questions like that on the 4 o'clock shows or specific to the John Deere Classic this week, feel free to ask anything you want. Let me get to one or two more questions before we bring up the recap screen. Amags, I don't know if you're raising your hand for this one, but Aaron Brown was saying, what do you think of Christopher Sanchez over 4.5 Ks? But please feel free to respond to anything else as well.
Yeah, no, I threw an answer in the chat for that one real quick. Like, I don't have a strong opinion on it. I would lean to the under, but I don't have a strong opinion. I do think Sanchez is great. Actually, on most of his starts would lean to the over. So it is what it is. That's just a tougher lineup to face. But I did want to at least say this. So Joe Neufeld says that Kershaw is bad in July, right? And I get that. But if you just look back since 2023, he's pitched less than 8 innings in July. So, I mean, just be a little bit careful with some of the numbers that you look at. I do think that some of that stuff is probably more noise than anything.
Get that parlay says, is chestnut a lock? That's what we've been reduced to. We're going to the hot dog eating contest. Tom, I saw you raise your hand. Do you have a comment on this? Get that parlay says, first contest back since the ban. Is he going to get 70? Your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I think he's going to come back strong. There's nothing like it's amazing how many people bet this hot dog eating contest, by the way. When I was at other places, when we do the article for the hot dog eating contest, it's unbelievable the amount of views it gets. But I just wanted to say one thing. I really wanted to go to that game on July 9th, but since I can't, here's what we're going to do. In February, I'm going to put something together for a St. John's game. I'll talk to Larry. If they don't want to fund us, then we'll go off the grid. And we're going to go to the St. John's game. We're all going to max bet it. I'm going to wear a Chris Mullin jersey. We'll watch the game. Then we'll head to the bar and watch some more college basketball. So that's my plans. We'll do it after the Super Bowl, see if I can put it together. Because as everybody knows, in early July, I can let you know that St. John's is going to Final Four this year. So that'll be a good game.
So, okay, 2 things. 1, that would be at MSG, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and 2, just so we're all clear, St. John's going to the Final Four next year.
You got it.
Wow. Okay. Futures markets. I think they available? They are, right, for college basketball already?
They are. I'm in New York, so they're harder to find, but yes, They're available.
Wow. David Kleinlidler says, I'm sorry, Kleinlidler. Wow, that's tough. Chris Mullins shout out. Chris Mullins, a lot easier to pronounce than David's last name. I'm usually good with last names. Like David, you're going to need to spell that one out for me because I know you're in the chat a lot and I do not want to screw up your name. Let's go to Georgetown versus St. John's, says Mr. Big. I'm a big Hoyas fan. I would absolutely love to go to Georgetown versus St. John's. Maybe that's the game we pick. But Tom, we're going to leave that up to you. I'm going to go to that game too. I'll take the train up just like I'm doing it on July 9th for the Yankees game. So Tom, would love to hang out with you. St. John's plus 1,700 to win it all. Your thoughts before we get to the recap screen?
Yeah, no, I'm probably going to wait on it just to get a little better number because some of these teams don't have great numbers. But, I think they have a good chance this year. And, listen, I know there's at least 2 people out there dying to meet me. So we got to put something together since I can't go to the baseball game.
At least 2. At
least 2.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's get to the recap screen. Again, hopefully we'll see you guys and girls all at 4:00 as well. Round 1 3-ball, Emiliano Grillo plus 100 over Adam Schenk and Rafael Campos. Aaron Judge over 1.5 bases, minus 115. That one, Tom Casales. Brent Rooker over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at minus 125. That one belongs to Amags. And then we got a money line parlay from Martin Green, USA plus Mexico, minus 137. We go to the SportsLine picks. Ryan Pepio under 6.5 Ks at minus 136. Courtesy of Prop Stars, and the Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5. That's the run line, minus 102. That one from Bruce Marshall. Do not forget, that is at 12 o'clock. 12:10 is the start of that A's game where we have a ton of picks here. And also don't forget, today at 1 o'clock during that A's game, you can have that on mute and you can be watching CBS Sports Network because I'm going to be hosting and we're going to have MLB best bets. We're going to have a lot of SportsLine model stuff, and we're going to break down a couple more NFL teams with some betting profiles. So today at 1 o'clock and tomorrow at noon, you can catch the early edge on CBS Sports Network, where you always see guys like Martin Green, Amags, Tom Casale, Prop Stars, who was in the chat, people like Larry Hartstein. Larry Hartstein's going to be on the show today with Claudia, among others. So it's going to be a great show. This was a great show as well. We went pretty long because that's kind of what we do now. Tom Casale, Martin Green, Amags, thank you very much. A big, big thank you to Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Let's make it a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Maybe we'll see you at 4 o'clock. Maybe we'll see you at 1 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Either way, thanks for being a part of this. We rest our case.